Alright. You ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
One time I got food poisoning at an Applebee's.
Good start.
Fades into the intro. One time I got food poisoning at
One time I got food poisoning at an Applebee's.
boom 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 boom.
We just hire a dude on like Patreon or something to like do a Minecraft intro for us.
Oh my god, that'd be
Please.
sick.
That is the way to go.
It's a joke.
Hello and welcome to the very first and exciting episode of Slow Your Roll. I'm your dungeon master, Chris Allen, and joining me today is you guys. Say your names out loud.
I'm Steven.
Bella.
I'm Carly.
Hello, welcome. This is very exciting. So this is a project that all of us have been working on for a very long time. That is a good song. What is that?
It's
John Cena?
That's John Cena.
Copyright.
Copyright. Sponsor.
I mean, you can say his
It's-
name. You can say the name John
John
Cena.
Cena.
He's
Cena's
allowed.
sponsored.
He's allowed.
Sponsored fair use.
It's not like he's gonna be summoned through the door like the Kool-Aid Man, kicking it in.
He's coming through the door.
So this is our actual play series of Dungeons and Dragons. And before we say anything at all, huge thank you to the Area Orchestra and our very own Bella Curling for the fantastic intro song that we just heard, along with the outro that y'all will hear later. Incredible, literally blew my mind to hear and was a dream come true to have a theme song for a show. So thank you very much, Bella. I appreciate it. And to you, the Arionic Orchestra. Very appreciative for that.
Yes.
Like I said, this is something we've been doing, getting ready for how long has it been? We've been prepping for this. Like,
At least a month.
it's been a couple months. It's been like,
It's been a minute.
it's been a minute. We've been thinking about
Dare I
this.
say 3?
Dare I say 4? I mean, 4 may be pushing it.
Honestly,
Is that too much?
We've been
Listen,
talking about
That's
it.
a long relationship.
That
I
is
know
a
with
long.
men-
That's lasted longer than most of mine.
Okay, we started talking about it, I know, in the summertime.
In the summer, it's currently January.
Yes.
We started talking about this
In the
idea
summer.
in the summer, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. But yeah, it's been a while.
But
But
we're here.
we're finally here. We're finally started.
We're here.
This is episode 0. So not any of the actual stuff. Let me actually turn the brightness down on my. There we are. I don't look like a ghost anymore. Cool. I keep throwing my pen. This is a D&D podcast / series on YouTube and ASMR. We have a big old chunker of a microphone in there. Do the dice.
Big boy.
That's it. That's not
I
good.
missed, bro. Oh yeah, hand simple.
That's that good.
Anyways,
Hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
But first and foremost, I need to say this is unlike most content that we have made on this channel and probably will continue to make, in the fact of this is not for kids. This is going to have mature themes, mature ideas, language, which I don't even know if we've already started saying, but there'll be cursed words. At least
I
a couple
avoided it
cursed
until that
words.
point just for you.
I've heard on YouTube you have to wait
read
until like 5 minutes in, and
Really?
that's like a new thing, I think. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
let's
follow
sit in
YouTube.
silence.
Sit in silence for
5
5 minutes and then we
Okay.
break it with swears.
No, we have to
I'm
do the
gonna-
thing Justin Bieber did, where he was like, turn Yummy down super low on volume when things are silent in your home or you're falling asleep.
God.
We just listened to Yummy on
Yummy?
super low volume.
That's all we gotta do.
What is Yummy?
It's Justin Bieber's
New
newest
release.
song. He's trying to make a comeback.
He has a
And he
song
was
called
like-
Yummy?
Yeah, and he was like, fans, listen to this on low volume
Do you
while
know
you
what it's-
sleep so I can get like high ratings.
That's some
I've
cult.
never listened to it.
That's a cult
Do you know what it's
mindset.
about?
No.
Food?
His wife's.
Oh God.
No.
Oh God. To be fair, when we
Believers
were
rise
younger,
up.
we didn't know what we were talking about, but we all sang Whistle.
I remember
did.
being
I actually
singing,
remember hearing
like,
that song and being
Rihanna.
like, this is clearly about a blowjob.
When I was a kid, I had no idea. I was like, dude
Whoa.
really likes his woodwinds.
Yeah,
I was like,
really likes it.
Whoa.
can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle,
Whistle.
baby.
Let me know.
This has nothing to
We
do
were
with
all
anything.
like,
Let me blow your whistle.
sticks
baby.
and stones may break my bones, but chains and whips excite me by Rihanna.
I
I was
just
like,
thought-
we were all like
Nine in the
9.
backseat.
Yeah.
I just thought she had a wild steampunk aesthetic, you
Yeah,
know?
I
I just thought
honestly-
she was into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Anyways.
an important thing to note is that this is an entirely home-brew campaign. That's why it's kind of taken so long, is that this is something that has been built from the ground up, of course has countless inspiration to like a bunch of different things like all shows do, but this is a creation, and a lot of the mechanics and stuff are of our own design, and a lot of the mechanics we are just ignoring. Who cares about gold? Who cares about encumbrance? Who cares about jumping distance?
Not me.
I'll have a challenge for you that's just jump height,
Different
and that's
Let's
roll.
just
Let me roll for it.
roll for it right now.
We have like high IQ podcast for
What'd you get?
Steven.
100.
That's a jump. You can jump.
I can
You
jump.
can jump.
Bro.
High IQ.
Whew.
High
Okay,
IQ
okay.
podcast.
Uh,
You know,
High
like
IQ.
rules.
High IQ, high
That
rolls.
means I got. That
Yeah,
means
it's like
I
Rick
lost
and
my.
Morty.
This is the official Rick and Morty
Yeah, this is
podcast.
the
You have a
official.
triple digit
Aichu.
Aichu.
That's my favorite Pokemon.
Aichu. I know. I was thinking of Pikachu. That's why I said it.
You're already skipping all the way to triple? I only have single.
Oh.
Not even double, just right down to single digits, baby.
Wow. So you're one to
We're
nine.
not gonna learn 7.
You're 1 to 9 on the IQ scale.
I've never taken one because I'm scared.
Yeah.
Dude,
truly.
my IQ's like soaring.
I feel like I'm
Seventy.
pretty confident in mine, and it's
No,
pretty
mine's
average.
Very average.
Very, very average
Yeah.
among everything.
I have an
about
aunt
me.
who's in like
Nothing
the
wrong with
high IQ club. I don't remember what it's called.
The
but-
Mile High Club is what they call that.
No.
That's where you have sex on a plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but sex on a beach is a drink. Different thing
Who
entirely.
wants to have sex on a plane? It's an Airbus.
For the
Who wants to have?
For the
Is
dreamers.
it past 5 minutes?
Yes, it actually
Who
is.
wants to fuck on a bus?
Fuck on a bus.
A
There
lot
is
of
a,
people in band
whole
class.
channel dedicated. Yep.
People in band classes love to fuck on buses.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Anyways.
Anyway,
Hey.
that's that segue.
Welcome. Hello.
I think it is
Podcast.
very important to note, like, and be crystal clear with all of this. This is my first time DMing anything. We've played one. We did one shot. We did the Lost Mines of Pandever, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
In order to kind of get ourselves used to it. This is my first time DMing. I'm very excited for it. I have been prepped. I have so much stuff behind this screen, and I didn't know you could fit that much behind 4 little walls. But I wanted to be crystal clear with that right from the start. This is my first time, and I ask for y'all's patience. I especially ask for you three's patience.
Now.
What's everyone's history? with
What's
the
everyone's
nerd
history
game?
with playing Dungeons and Dragons or any tabletop role-playing game?
What's our history with it?
So I know that Carly and Steven, we've played together
Yes.
many times.
That's how we met, actually.
That is how we
Have
met.
I played Dungeons and Dragons theoretically? But I didn't get bullied a lot as a kid.
But tell me, you guys. Like, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
Off and on. I went. I think the longest period was about 1.5 years without playing. But it's been something that I've been really
Sounds
interested
like an
in.
AA meeting now.
It is. You know, it is a
It's been
problem.
about a year and a half.
Getting to know
It's been about 1.5 years, and then I went right back into it. You know,
Right back into
the
it.
breath of the dragon really. It's hard to cut.
You just can't.
Honestly.
You can't get past it.
But Steven, how much have you been playing?
So I have played since. Actually, my first time playing was with you.
It was.
Yes. it
Gotcha.
was, yeah. So that was what? 3 years ago.
That was three or 4 years ago. Were we freshmen or
We were
sophomores in college?
sophomores.
Sophomores in
We were
college, I think.
sophomore, Yeah.
Yes, we were
Okay, so it
sophomores.
was about 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's been about 3
Yeah.
years, off and on.
Yeah. And I've played a couple times within each of those years.
Yeah.
So.
And like, what classes do you normally play as for the most part?
So usually the tank.
The tank?
Usually a tank.
So this is different for you
This
as
is
well.
different. This is different, as we'll come to find out that I am not a tank. this
You're
time.
not a tank,
I
and
am
we
not
can
a tank this
we can dive more into that in just a second.
Yes.
But Bella, how much have you been playing? I know it's kind of a gray area when it comes to tabletop games.
So,
What an intro! The long pause and the prayer hands.
Just to think about that one.
She has to pray to all the nerd gods of all time just to be like,
Give her
fucking
strength.
accept me, please.
have I played Dungeons and Dragons? Lightly. Have I done it, clear-headedly? No.
Okay. I do remember you have told me you've DM'd, but
Yes. I DM a series of one-shots. That's the most involved I've really ever been.
More
But they're...
than me.
It's just like, don't die. You're all evil.
And
And
I
those
think
are just your baseline standards.
when we were talking, you even were like, I don't read the rules. I expect my players to know them for me.
I do.
I mean, that's great.
It makes a good chaos mode.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good energy, yeah.
It is.
I think they're just suggestions.
Suggestions.
The
I mean,
rules are just suggestions.
that is
So,
a good
like,
thing to touch on
Dungeons and
because
Dragons has gone really well for me.
really well.
Yeah, he taught me what a critical role meant last night.
Literally last night,
No.
which is important because we were making
Yes,
jokes
That
about
is
what to
why
name the
I'm
podcast.
praying.
Critical role.
Critical Role was one I brought up, and she was like, haha. And then later she was like,
Dude,
I don't know what
I've been
that
keeping
is.
this
Like,
up
what
since
does
you
that even
suggested
mean?
it. We did a whole one shot, and I was like, yeah.
We played a whole game.
Disengage. Oh wait, I can't do anything now. I knew that.
And then Carly, what about yourself?
Same as Steven, we're siblings, so we did, we were in the same situation.
Whoa!
and
Surprise!
we met, we met you and we started playing with you, and it was fun to kind of like experience that, but same amount of time. I'm terminology-wise a little less,
First.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know terminology, but I forget things.
That's okay. And when it
But-
comes to, that was an important note that you both have brought up. When it comes to the rules of this,
Yeah.
literally like one of the first lines in the Dungeon Master Handbook is do whatever. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
No,
doesn't
That's
matter.
the fun part,
Part of the
because
game.
roleplay can also mean lie and ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it also means like it says, and it's a bit of an ego boost. The DM is the storyteller, god, and referee of the game. So if there's a rule that we're like, what happens here? I'll just be like, this, and
You
like,
like this?
You
If
get
that's-
it. You're
Roll
God.
it.
Yeah.
You are basically God.
so if it goes wrong, and if that's not the rule, we'll play it with whatever we can to start with. But if we get something wrong, let us know. I like being told I'm wrong so we can be better. But I'm not gonna be super harsh on rules unless it's just like obnoxiously breaking of it. Like
have a good time.
we here for fun. We here to play.
Come on. Forget about
I
it.
Forget
told,
about
this
it.
is low IQ Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Low IQ. Then.
I feel like
Let's roll for our IQ.
okay.
Wait,
D8.
No, you got it.
Which
You,
one's
I
that,
got a
bro?
1.
Okay, there we go.
I have a 1.
That's a good start. Heavy first roll. Also, exciting news. We already have social media set up for the show, which we're
I
excited to
saw
run
that.
through with. If you go on Twitter or Instagram at The Roll Show, that is the official Twitter and Instagram and social medias for this show. I'm going to try my best to be active on there. And if you guys have any like questions, comments, any kind of fan art, if you want to go with that, I would love to see all that. And I look and read every single message I've ever gotten on my YouTube, on my TikTok, on my any social medias I get.
Yes.
And as well from there, I do want to have a lot of community involvement. So if you guys have any suggestions, if you guys have anything that you are interested in seeing, let me know. And I think it's a really fun idea. The Adventure Zone does this. I know a lot of other podcasts do. But active members or people who have suggestions and comments and things, I want to start naming NPCs after you guys. So if you guys are engaging on there and you guys send us messages and things, you guys have a chance to be featured in the show or named.
Do you have a Patreon yet?
No, I do not have a
Oh,
Patreon
Can you give us
yet.
some money?
Hey,
Here's
if
my
in a couple
Venmo
weeks,
in the description below.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my plug.
if you want to like PO box us some donuts sometimes, let's do that. Like, let's hit it up.
Cash only?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yet again,
only.
cash only.
Box.
Cash only.
Cash PO box. Send us your taxes.
Cash only.
Send us your taxes. We'll file them
Send
for
me all
you.
your coins.
We'll commit tax fraud for you.
For you.
We will evade your taxes, so
Yeah.
you don't have to.
I just want coins.
And yet again,
Coins.
true. Yet again, that's at the Roll Show, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm just trying to see if I have anything else on here. Oh, we are very poor college students, and we don't have money to pay for any kind of
Venmo in the
advertising.
description below.
Venmo in the description below. We don't have any money for advertising. We exclusively rely on word of mouth. So if you enjoy this show, please consider sharing it on any social medias with your friends. Talk about it if you like it. Just say, hey, I've been listening to this new thing. You might enjoy it. It helps us out greatly, and we appreciate it more than we can ever express. And that's a weird thing to request before we've even gotten started, but I'm just ticking through the notes here on
If
my
you hate
Toy
it,
Story
also
book.
share it.
If you hate it, also share it.
Share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell your grandma. Tell your dad.
Tell me.
your
I
dog.
want to hear the hate.
We
love
share love and we share spite in this household. Either way you
Yeah.
feel, let us know.
Yeah.
We like both.
We love emotions.
That's kind of all I have with this. Thank you all for joining us. We have more to talk about this episode, which is the actual game that we're going to be playing. Those are some brief starting announcements, which is kind of this whole episode 0's idea. But what I really want to dive into for this is I want us all to go down the list and talk about your characters. I think we'll learn a lot more about them fluidly throughout the game as we play, but I think what you guys find important about them and what you want people to know should be out there at the start. So,
Yes.
you know, we started with Steven last time. Let's start with Carly.
Yes.
Carly, tell me a bit about Kathleen Cat Young.
So, here we have her. She's a female. She's
And if I have a
human.
picture of her, we'll pop it up.
Yeah, she's right there. She's a female, she's a human, and she's a sorcerer. You know, she looks a little bit like, every actress right now. But that's okay.
Every actress,
like
is it just because of the
Anna
bangs
Yeah,
and
Like an Anna Kendrick,
Anna Kendrick.
like Emma Watson, like
Right, you can just see it in her face. But anyways, no, Kat she's basically from an era in the United States in civil discourse, the 60s, the swinging 60s.
Swing 60s.
But she, moves on she grew up in the 60s, and the year's 1970, she's fresh on, out of just being by herself, you know. And she unfortunately gets abducted.
Abducted!
She gets abducted, and she's basically taken. This is not Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not at all.
She gets
Not.
taken to space, where she basically she leaves behind a younger brother on Earth and a father who they know of Kathleen's powers and of her past. Greg especially knows. He wants nothing more to be with her in space. Actually.
Greg is her brother.
Yes, her
Okay.
technically half brother.
Half-brother,
They don't
yeah.
share the same mom, but he basically he's the only one that knows Kathleen's mother is a. Should I reveal everything?
I mean, you can talk about as much as you want to. This is your backstory, so these are things you kind of know about.
Right.
I don't know if... Has he told you this yet? Did he ever get the chance to tell you?
gotten the tea yet?
Have I got from my
Yeah.
From your brother. From your
no,
brother.
Greg, no.
So then I wouldn't.
Yeah,
You don't know
no.
the tea about who you
She's
are?
she's neutral.
You
She's
don't know?
blonde. She's 26 and ready to mingle.
And ready to mingle. She's down to fuck.
It's all you need to know
It's
about
a
my
coming
girl.
of age
Wait.
moment.
How tall is she?
She's 5'9".
This is important if people want to do fan art, you know?
Her size is medium.
Yeah.
She wears a medium.
Her movement speed is 50 feet, 30 feet actually.
30, yeah, she can only move
She
30
can't
feet at
jump.
a time.
She didn't make a roll for it earlier.
She didn't have to roll for it.
She's
I did.
pretty
I need
smart.
to pull up my character description.
And
yeah.
you also, so you're a sorceress.
Yes.
That's your powers. That's your
Yes.
class. But you have a archetype known as aberrant mind. So your deity type thing. You got abducted into space, and when you did get abducted, you met two people, like humanoids. I don't know if they were alien-esque in nature, or if they
Yes.
looked more similar to people.
Yeah.
They were more alien.
I would say a mix.
A mix. Okay.
It was
But I
just
remember
two
they
Billie
said.
Eilishes.
Yes.
They did say, because this is something your character does know.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you're not in trouble, but your mom is. We need to go find her.
Yep.
And that's where we last left your character.
That
I
is
believe.
where she's at.
So she's kind of a girl not only taken out of time,
Yep.
but also out of your technological age, which is kind of a big start for
Big
one.
step.
And then taken out again into this world that I've made, which is an important thing to note now. Everybody is from a different period in time, history, or reality. I believe on your Earth, there's no like wizards for the most part.
Yeah.
There's no like dwarves or anything
Yeah,
like
no.
that.
It's just
But
Earth.
it's just
Earth.
Earth. But there are everybody's from a different place and time and reality, and that all comes together at the end. So if it sounds like they're all like, how do these people fit? I promise we'll get there. Is there anything else about Kat we want to know
That's
about?
some eye contact, Steven. He hit me with a.
Hit you with a full
I
round.
I
was
loved
saying-
it.
I
We
was-
both
I thought it
no,
was
we
your
both hit
turn.
it with each other.
I thought it was
nice.
your
We
turn.
both said.
And that's all we need to know about
What?
it, really. I guess
I
we'll
think-
find out.
I think it's also important to note Kat is super into music.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Music. She bleeds music.
You almost
Not
forgot
because I bleed music or anything, but she loves the Beatles. Not because I love the Beatles or anything, but she
It's
loves,
okay to have inspiration from yourself and your
Never.
character.
she just loves music, and what a good thing to put as my character's inspiration as one of my inspirations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it'll make it better for everybody.
How unoriginal.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right.
Moving on.
So moving on, let's go to Bella. Now, listen.
Let me say the name.
Okay, there was some heavy debate
This.
that we
Let
talked
me have
about,
this, Yeah.
and we ended up coming to a compromise, which was not a compromise. But Bella, tell me a bit about your character.
Yeah, okay, so my character's name, she is a lovely 30-year-old Russian woman.
Nice to meet you, lovely 30-year-old Russian woman.
Do I have to say the name first?
You said my character's name is,
Oh.
and then
Okay,
My
fine.
character's name.
I just
My
had to do the dad
character's
joke.
name is Action Bronson. She is a 30-year-old Russian woman
30-year-old Russian woman.
in 1816.
I thought it was
So-
I thought it was 17. Is it 1816 or is it?
The war was
The
in
war.
1812.
I'm a history man.
Yeah, so let me describe this. right?
The war of
So-
1712. Everyone's heard of that.
Yeah,
The current
everyone
one?
knows.
Yeah, the one that's going on right now.
You're up. Keep going.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Talk
so
about Action Bronson for me.
yeah, so Action Bronson.
God.
Yeah, have you guys ever watched Ancient Aliens with Action Bronson on YouTube?
Watch it.
Yeah.
Or just heard his
Love that.
music or anything else. He's a
Namely
very
know
well-diverse
that.
man.
Yes.
Name that. Watch that.
Has
That's it.
nothing to do
Namely
with him.
Nothing
at
to
all.
do with that man. Just love that show.
Just watch it.
So, I said, fuck accessibility. So, y'all ever read A War and Peace by, like, Leo Tolstoy?
No.
No, because no one would do that. It's 2020. But anyways, so in this story, there's this man named Pierre, and he is sad and old, and he didn't go to war with his friend who was a prince, and he has an unhappy marriage, and the wife ends up sleeping with her brother, so we're not doing that moment. War and Peace is it's very old and very Russian, but man, how do I even get into that? I killed Napoleon.
You killed Napoleon, so you exist.
Yeah.
Your character
Definitely.
she is 38, 30
Yeah,
something
She's in her
upper
30s,
30s.
36.
And so
That's
you were
very
in
old Russia times.
in old Russia times, but I think it's interesting to note that in this reality, there is at the very least mythological races because you are a half elf.
I am a half elf. Rose.
So in this war that apparently that exists across these time spans, you exist within the reality that there is also some kind of magic at play,
Yeah.
or at least there's these kind of races that are also there fighting in this front, which I really like that take. But you are, I think, first and foremost, before anything else, a woman of wisdom, knowledge, and intellect.
Yes.
I think that is something
she
that
grew
action
up
prides itself
very
on.
rich and with a very academic household in Moscow, and
Yeah.
so she takes a lot of heart into studying. That's a comfort. She's not much of a people person.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But
she
yeah,
wound up going to war, and so in the War of 1812, she gained a lot of like social sense of like, oh, I'm at this level, but there's a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah, well, and also, like, when you're at war, everybody's just at war. It
Everyone's
doesn't matter
at
about aristocracy.
Back
It does
in
not
the-
matter
the-
about
The
wealth.
good old Russian
Yeah.
days.
So, I mean, I think that was a point in which your character learned a lot about that and is not unaccessible because of your childhood, which I think is really interesting and cool. But you, like you mentioned, assassinated Napoleon.
I did.
But
because,
I remember
Killed.
something ended up happening after that.
yeah, it didn't go too well.
Mhm.
So essentially, you know, in this search for meaning, and namely, like, Action Bronson, similar to the real Action Bronson, wants to come out on top and be known, and has, like, a standard of, oh no, bye-bye, the way things are, and it's gonna meet it. And so basically, Action Bronson kills Napoleon in this attempt to fulfill that value to country and to people, because in 1812, like in real history, which is so boring, people really
We've
care
cut.
about that.
Hey, Bella, I need you to know we've cut half this shit because I don't care about old people doing old things.
We don't care.
We only care about vaping and kick flips, okay?
True.
True.
Bring air horns. Bing, 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 bing.
Anytime we ask for air horns from now on, I'm just using that sound.
Editor. Air horns. Beep, 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 beep.
I'm the
beep.
editor. It's me. You're talking
Chris,
to
Chris,
future Chris. Run.
Editor.
Cancel.
Chris. Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, but
And so essentially, I got exiled from Russia for killing Napoleon. Very much of a this deserves to go to the state, not onto one person, let alone a woman who wasn't even supposed to be in that war in the first place.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bribed situation,
Yep.
exactly.
safe to say, not under the table, not quite ethically meeting the standards.
Yeah.
And so
And you were kind of used as a scapegoat for
Absolutely.
all the positive
Absolutely.
aspects of that was
Yeah.
given to the Russian government for the
Uh-huh.
assassination of Napoleon, but you were painted as the bad aspects.
Yeah.
So you didn't even get the credit for what you fought for, which I think is a very
it's some
heavy part
spicy
on your character.
nationalism.
That's some spicy spice for
There's
sure.
some spicy spice.
It's some spicy spice. And so basically, exiled, Action Bronson fled to England, where she spends her days drinking and reading.
Epic.
My guy.
Good
I think it's
Russians.
also very important to note that Action Bronson is a rogue.
Action Bronson is a rogue.
Is a rogue. That's an important note to make. But what I love about your character is that there is so often when it comes to rogues, like just murder babies. You know, just like I go in the shadows and I stab him. Like
Yeah.
that's.
I'm gonna stab him, yeah.
They're
But
really
like
over-
I think for the most part, you learned like these tricks by sneaking around your house to like learn these intricacies, and you are intelligent and read all these books in your father's
It's
library.
like the
and-
formality of the way it was kind of canceled that like chaos murder to
Yeah.
kind of, which leads to like my alignment, which is like true neutral.
I think you're true neutral. Yeah.
So it kind of takes that nice chaotic side of rogue, but also like, oh, this bitch grew up with values and
Yeah.
money, which like those are not correlated.
And you didn't really have your parents around much, and you were raised
Yeah.
by the staff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all. I think that's a really good picture. What? Give some details about what she looks like.
Oh, so I described her as Whitey. on
Whitey is.
IMDb
You do have
on.
listed as
She's
her race.
5'8",
Whitey.
140 pounds, 32 years old, and a woman. She's brown hair, brown eyes, and she's got a low bun situation. She's Russian.
Yeah.
She's not having a great time.
But yeah.
She just got kicked out of her country. It's not lit.
Very, very fair. I think that's a good overarching story on
Steve,
her.
HBU,
Now,
where you at?
ladies and gentlemen,
Our hero
might we
arrives.
introduce you,
Our hero.
Our hero arrives.
our hero,
God.
the chosen one,
The
the moment we've
chosen-
all been waiting for.
Our hero arrives. So, who's our hero? You may be asking. It's Rain O'Don. That's what I'm talking about. So, this dude is a badass. Let me okay, so basically, Rain O'Don, he is a
Are you having
he's
a
a
look?
changeling.
Okay. I thought you were gonna look at.
I'm thinking how I want to word
I
it.
thought you
I'm-
forgot
I'm-
what
no,
like the class
lean
was or
in,
something,
lean
and
in
you were
to
like,
such
Who am I? Who am I?
you had all the hype of like
And then I
a
just
full
paused.
frat boy
Oh,
army.
I'm scared.
I
And
was
then
about to say,
editor,
you could tell me
Cut
a
that.
No.
Cut
Mm-mm.
that together for me.
Editor, no, not
Make
gonna.
me look good, editor. Okay, so I'm Rain O'Don. I'm a male changeling.
Yeah.
I'm getting the physical characteristics.
We got
out of the
this.
way first. I'm about 5'10". I'm about 155 pounds. I'm like light gray. I got like a kind of like a slick back knot, white hair. It's kind of
Yeah.
got it going on. I'm a ranger.
You're a ranger.
I'm a ranger.
And also, I think it's important to know half elf and human, for the most part, are pretty self-explanatory. What is a changeling?
So a changeling is it's a race of being that can shapeshift. They can
Yeah,
any person or okay, not any person. Well,
like
yeah,
humanoid.
well,
humanoid,
any humanoid
kind of.
they see
That is your
or-
size.
that is around my size. Yeah,
Yeah.
generally.
But what you wait,
Or
like when you wake
creatures.
up in the morning, what do you look like?
That's the thing.
You just ain't.
Nobody knows.
Kind of
because-
Voldemort-y.
Because I have a mask.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got a mask. It's a kabuki.
Spicy.
It's a kabuki mask.
Whoa,
It's
yeah.
pretty sick.
It's pretty
It's
sick.
pretty sick. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna spoil everything. But
I mean, you just kind of give a description. Yeah.
let's tell you about this. I was found by mushroom people.
Really?
Okay.
I like we
Stay
have,
with me.
we have all these. My favorite part about this is we have like. I'm a girl from the 1960s and 70s, and I really like this. I was abducted by aliens. I'm a Russian assassin who killed Napoleon Bonaparte named Action Bronson. I'm a changeling with this really cool outfit and stuff, and I was raised by
It's
shrooms.
just
Like,
total mess.
there's one outlier, and I fucking love it so
It's
much.
just the one little dash of
It's the
magic.
little
it's
dash
the
of like
It's a
special
Zoe
sauce.
Deschanel.
Yeah, it's a little quirky though.
Ooh.
But yeah, you were raised by mushroom people, which I actually really like this idea a lot.
So basically, I was abandoned in a forest, and as a baby, and I was
His
found
parents.
by
His parents, they went full Shrek.
yeah.
Because changelings
They were
are
like,
kind
you
of
ugly baby.
in this
Oh,
reality, in this
That's
world,
what Shrek's parents.
changelings aren't necessarily as much a race as they are a deformity.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not. They're not really well smiled upon.
They're kind of like
Well,
people.
smiled upon.
I'm trying. What's the disease way back when where your limbs would fall off? Like an olden dies.
Gout?
Are you
Not
talking
gout.
about,
Diphtheria?
Like in the Bible, when people would be like outside and leper, you're kind of like a leper.
Leprosy.
Like people treat you the same way they treat a leper for the most part, where they're like, "Oh Jesus, get away from me," because at your base level appearance, you are
I'm kind of
like
odd.
you look Voldemort-y. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really have
Aw,
a
that's
nose.
lovely.
You
I'm like
you have
light
like
gray bluish.
Yeah.
I have like white hair. It's my eyes. I don't know.
I think they glow yellow.
Yeah,
I think you
they're-
said.
they're like
You have a
yellow.
jaundice moment?
I mean, if that's your thing, sure.
Yeah, I was found by mushroom people. My name. So I do want to get this out of the way. My
And
name-
real quick, hold on to that. You were found by mushroom people at the mouth of a cave that led to the Underdark.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the Underdark
Mm.
with my mushroom family.
Mhm.
My normal usual appearance is actually my changeling appearance.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have a kabuki mask on, so people aren't immediately like, oh, that's a changeling. It's
Like,
kind of
let's run this dude out of town.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can still kind of have that moment. Or
Like-
if people see you quickly, it's not like, it's just like oh, that guy's wearing a mask
Yeah,
kind of
he's
thing.
wearing a mask. He's kind of just like, you could be like
Could
an
be
adventurer or
ugly,
something.
could
I
be
don't know.
ugly,
Yeah,
right?
nobody
Yeah.
knows what he looks like.
Exactly.
But so I do usually hang out in my changeling form.
Mhm.
But I do have a human blacksmith
Alter ego kind of thing, yeah.
Hugo Barnes.
Because this is a racial trait of changelings, is
Yes.
that you assume an entirely different identity down to like person, clothes, all these things, and you get a proficiency with that person's tools.
Yeah.
So this is the alternate personality that you
Yes.
created as your racial trait. Yeah.
So also, I learned blacksmithing actually from a giant, and the giant's name was Odon.
Yeah.
So that's where I
spicy.
gave myself my last name, and then my first name, Rain, came from the first sensation I felt, which I later learned the name of it as being Rain.
Yeah, because your adoptive parents, the mushrooms, they can't speak. That was a big
They
thing
don't
growing
speak,
up.
They don't speak at all. So the only like language I got was from when I was Hugo Barnes in the human village. That's how I learned common. I learned giant from Odon, and then I also know Orcish.
Yeah, and undercommon, I believe,
And-
because
yeah,
you were
undercommon,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
language of
yeah.
changeling, and you were grown up there. But yeah, no, I think this is a very good introduction to all of your characters. In terms of the scope of the world, briefest of things, because in the first episode I'll actually dive down very deep into it. But every character has something about them that is lost, that is broken, or that is forgotten about entirely. And these are all traits that allow you to be taken to this plane of reality called the core in this world. The core is the center of the multiverse, and within this center, it is essentially a gigantic flatland of nothing but desert. The gods of the realities have these pathways called the planes of existence, which is a real Dungeons and Dragons term. But they pass these things that are lost, forgotten, and destroyed because no one will recognize they're gone, in order to balance the scales of the universe. Once they pass through these ways, they fall in the core and are basically used as a storage system for the entire multiverse. You guys have found yourself within the core one day. And you awaken in this place called the City of Lumen, which is the only settlement that has managed to survive in this area. Lumen, like light, like wow! And but that's essentially the place you wake up in the city and you start your journey. And we'll learn a little bit about it the further we go. But I think that's all I have to say. Is there anything else you guys have?
I am ready to go.
We're ready to get started?
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. I've had already an incredible time just talking about this. I can't wait to get started.
Conspiracy theories with Shane Dawson.
Yeah. But we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
I can't
Oh gosh. I have to finish the outro real quick.
Oh.
Just remember, if you guys like the show or you like this so far and you like these ideas, please share it to your friends, share it on social media, just talk about it. Go to @TheRollShow on Twitter and Instagram if you guys want to follow us. Hit that sick, nasty subscribe
Hit that
button.
follow button.
And the notification bell.
And you ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our postings, including the next episode, which will be when we actually get started with this series. It's been a blast to have you all here. Thank you all for joining us.
Episode 0.
Complete. Bye!